I get a fair few questions about the camera gear I use and whether I prefer the GoPro Black 7 or Sony's top Action Cam, the 4K HDR-X3000. Well, there are plenty of in-depth reviews and comparisons out there, and surprisingly, there are even a few honest ones if you look hard enough. But many YouTubers are given free cameras on the understanding they will do a glowing review, so be skeptical. So I will just offer my opinion, and from a dirt riding perspective only. Okay, my last comparison was between the GoPro Black 5 and the top Sony. For me, the Sony clearly stood out because it had optical image stabilization and much superior audio. But now I've been using the GoPro Black 7 and it has digital image stabilization, so it's a much closer call now. And while the stabilization on the previous model was quite dodgy, they've really got it working quite well now on the 7, as you can see in all of this footage. Is the stabilization better than the Sony? Well, for the serious dirt bike videographer, this may be the most important thing. The GoPro 7 almost becomes a magic carpet ride. GoPro says it's getting close to the stability of a gimbal, and they're kind of correct. Some will find this is actually too smooth. And also on corners, the digital stabilization tends to keep the image horizontal instead of allowing for natural tilt. So for comparison purposes, here is some Sony footage. Some argue the optical image stabilization is more natural. I should also mention this is the full optical stabilization setting on the Sony. They also have a very handy mid setting in case you actually want some more bumpiness to provide action. The GoPro doesn't have a mid setting. It's either the magic carpet ride or the horrible bumpy ride of the older models. I will let you be the judge. For me, audio is the second biggest thing. The Sony, still the clear winner here. The Sony audio is disgusting if you use the waterproof case, but I don't use this and just strap a bit of foam across the microphone to stop wind noise. The audio on the GoPro 7 isn't bad, it just isn't in the same class though.
You almost went for a bath.
However, the GoPro does have a handy setting for automatic wind reduction. You can get some mixed results with this, but a little bit of audio editing usually gets acceptable results. Video quality? Many say the GoPro is better, but they don't realise GoPro automatically sharpens their image, adds a lot of colour, and also contrast in their default setting. You actually have to opt out of this to get a natural image. Whereas Sony tends to start with a more natural image, which is far better for the advanced videographer. If you take this into account, there really isn't much difference. Well, not that I can tell. Those are my main criteria for an Action Cam, so in my opinion, it's a real toss-up between the two. And I happily use either cam on my rides now, whereas previously the Sony was a clear winner for my use. But what about everyone else? Well, I think the everyday user will probably be happy with the GoPro 7 now. It simply has features that make it easier to use. It's waterproof without a case, it has the viewing screen on the rear. You can use voice control to operate the camera, although it still doesn't work well once there's a bit of wind noise. For motorbike riders, the GoPro's Super View setting is great. It provides a bit more height to the screen, so you can get the handlebars into the shot more for a more immersive feel. Before I say too many good things about the GoPro, I should also point out the annoying features. With the 7 model, quite a few users have lost their camera because the outer case breaks easily, and if you don't see the camera fall out, it's bye-bye GoPro. I put a big rubber band around my case to prevent this happening. I find it a lot harder to open the new case too. You can break fingernails trying to lever it open. I usually look around for a stick or a screwdriver. For years, GoPros have regularly frozen and you need to pull the bloody battery out to reboot the system. So annoying when this happens on the trail, and it's been happening for years across all their models. The Sony never does this. Every GoPro model has done it, for me at least. Why can't they fix it? If you search online for problems about the GoPro 7, you will be overwhelmed by the number reported. But look, most of these do get fixed in later patches, but GoPro has been accused of failing to test all these innovations out fully and letting customers become the guinea pigs. Good on them for innovating so much, but I do agree they could do more in-house testing before releasing new models. It probably pays to wait a few months before buying that GoPro 8. And of course, then install all the patches for fixing the errors. One final thing, most people don't need to spend this much money on an Action Cam. There are plenty of budget cams around with digital stabilization that will probably be good enough, and for a third of the price. So there you have it guys, just a personal opinion. As I said, this is just a personal opinion. Try and find a pile of honest reviews and just make your choices. Hopefully, you will get to choose the best camera for your needs.